Alien is a franchise that I appreciate for the most part, but I really do like the original movie. In my opinion, the first movie is a great sci-fi horror masterpiece. While it takes place in a spaceship, it has many tropes from classic horror stories and movies of the time. There's even a cat on the ship for some fake-out jump scares. It's basically a ghost ship, with the alien being a monster let loose on a crew of normal people who don't know what they are dealing with. It's also a really alien, otherworldly thing they are fighting there, and they have to learn what it is even capable of. It evolves basically in front of their eyes as well, from the egg they find to the facehugger that attacks and eventually the chest burster. Even worse is it once the alien is lurking on the ship and is fully grown, silently attacking, sneaking and luring the crew members. Also, the thing is bleeding acid and has a little head in its head, and it looks like a dick. I mean, look at the original concept art there. There are even veins on the head, and look at the shape. That's not exactly subtle. Fortunately, they toned it down at least a little bit for the movie. Aliens is also okay for me personally, but I think it really took away from the mystique and threat of the alien, when we see it all the time attacking, being blown up by sentry guns. All the other sequels are hit or miss, but I think the fourth one and Prometheus were the only ones I really didn't like, not counting the vs Predator movies. Of the games I have only played Alien vs Predator for the PS3, which was cool but not great, and Colonial Marines, which was not great.
That is one big pile of shit.
But what is considered the best Alien game I haven't played until now. Alien Isolation is set between the events of Alien and Aliens. Ellen Ripley's daughter Amanda got a hint about what happened to her mother, and she is entering the Sevastopol space station to look for audio logs and other clues on the station, to find out what happened to her mother. As it turns out, someone visited LV-426 and also found the Nostromo's remains. Unfortunately, they also brought someone infected with a facehugger, as we learn later, and an alien has been let loose on the station. Sevastopol station is now mostly abandoned. Only a few looters and androids are walking around when we are exploring the station. The looters are immediately opening fire at Amanda once they spot her, and the creepy androids who don't look like the lifelike models from the movies are also soon turning hostile once Amanda is trespassing. I also think it's funny and kind of clever that they decided to make them not Weyland-Yutani androids, but Seegson androids, which are cheaper and are advertised as being robots, not humans. That's why they look more like crash test dummies than actual human beings, and have also distorted voices. They are still as strong as normal androids though, if not even stronger. A bit later we also find the alien, which is presented very well and pretty well introduced. Later on in the game, the androids are also searching for Ripley and any other survivors, killing them directly, and not just reacting to your actions. There are also Seegson security guards, which are immediately opening fire on you, and are slightly more armored than the looters you encountered before. But for most of the time we will be hunted by the alien. We walk through different areas of the station, but it mostly looks the same, which is in tune with the original movie, and the areas are not too big so you won't get lost. In general, it's not varied though. The alien is very well introduced, as I said, and I was afraid that it might not be that scary or threatening, because the alien has already been so overdone in pop culture, but there are actually tense moments with it. The sound design is also pretty great and keeps you tense for most of the time, even when you don't hear the alien hissing or trampling around. There are a lot of sounds like hatches and doors opening, or some pipe noises or something like that, always grabbing your attention and keeping you tense once you hear it. I don't know if it changes on higher difficulties, but on normal the alien sometimes reminded me more of a panda, in how loud and clumsy it is. In the movies, the aliens are often sneaking up on people and only make themselves noticeable through hisses once they are close. This was obviously changed for the game, and to be honest, I'm okay with it. It just makes sense in terms of gameplay and game design, because the alien is one-hitting you once it attacks, and it would be very frustrating to die often because of an enemy that you can hardly spot. You can use the motion tracker if you like, but it's not the most accurate gadget, so you are mostly counting on your senses. I was also afraid that it might get annoying that it one-hits you, which can be the case, especially later on, but for the most part it was fine. There are frustrating parts though, and the reaction the alien has to attacks can also be insane and sometimes outright infuriating. I'm talking about the cases when Amanda is attacking looters or androids. While shooting understandably would cause so much noise that Ripley will immediately be spotted, which by the way also counts for looters, using melee combat on the other hand also makes the alien appear right behind her after she has hit someone. You're just hitting someone, not blasting him away with a gun, and the alien still hears it and is immediately behind you. Which also doesn't make much sense is that you are unlocking areas by opening up huge locks and throwing them to the side, or by cutting off metal plates which are also heavy and you throw them also aside. As they are quite big and heavy, it's very loud, but the alien doesn't care for it. But 2 or 3 hits with the wrench or electric prod make the alien freak out. What is this, freaked?
No more screw-ups, okay?
Styrofoam cup.
Fortunately, Ripley does have some means to fight back. There is a simple crafting system with which Amanda can use some more or less useful gadgets, like the noisemakers, EMP grenades, Molotovs and pipe bombs. There are also some weapons which Amanda can use, like a huge wrench, an electric prod, a revolver, a shotgun and the most useful weapon in the game, the flamethrower. With the guns you can get rid of the looters and androids, even though the androids take a lot of revolver bullets to go down. The alien seemingly only reacts to fire, so Molotovs can be used, but they will be clumsy to select and use. So the flamethrower will be your best friend in certain parts of the game. The shotgun is kind of cool, but has only 4 bullets in its chamber, and as this is more about survival, you will use your firearms only in a few spots. Ammo is also scarce. While it is fine for the firearms, it will be an issue for the flamethrower at some points, especially towards the end. Fights are not that enjoyable for the most part, as androids are very spongy and the alien often appears once you are fighting, but that's also kind of the point, I would say. Fighting off the alien can be quite annoying though at times. Also, the weapons are sometimes super inaccurate and sometimes quite accurate. It felt like the first shot of the revolver for like half of the game always missed. No matter how accurate the crosshair seemed to be or where I was shooting at. Maybe it also didn't just show on the android that it took any damage. I'm not sure. But back to the alien. Sometimes the alien is attacked with the flamethrower and instead of running away, it still attacks you, knocking you over, even though it should run. In some cases you can understand it, but in other cases I think there is an issue. It's also seemingly stuck sometimes. Both of these issues are caused by hiding places of the alien being not reachable for it at the moment, because it's either too close to you or you are keeping it away from the hiding spot by attacking it. Sometimes it can't properly get to the vents and escape, so it attacks you, even though it shouldn't and it wouldn't make sense there. The alien also seems to be invincible, so you can't just attack it until it goes away for a longer period of time, or leaves an area outright. The game does offer just enough variety to not get stale. There are also flashbacks to LV-426 and some spacewalks. You also save only manually at specific emergency stations, which is making the game more tense and overall works pretty well, but there are a few areas in which I would have liked to have more emergency stations, so I could save more often. Usually you have only like few minutes in between the stations, but there are points when you are like 15 to 20 minutes out in the open, I think, until you reach the next emergency station. It's also very much in line with the original movie. Some scenes are almost one-to-one recreations here, even up to the animations. Just compare the moments when the self-destruct mechanism is used in the film and here. Seeing the space jockey and the whole area was also very cool. Overall, Alien Isolation was a very enjoyable and well-made game. The start is a bit too slow, and while the game follows the story structure of the movie quite closely, it's not as engaging or interesting in its story. Maybe it's partly because of the length, but also because there is no big surprise here for the most part. Also, the characters are just not that interesting. But I like that it doesn't turn into an action slogfest like most of the other Alien sequels towards the end. Even though I have to admit that the very ending also felt like a cop-out and sequel bait. But other than that, it was good. It's definitely better than Colonial Marines. And even though I will probably not replay Isolation again, I would say it's also a bit better than the Alien vs Predator game. And I would give Alien Isolation an 8 out of 10. There are also 2 DLCs in which you can replay scenes with Ellen Ripley in the first movie. One is trying to trap the alien, the other one is escaping the Nostromo. But they did forget the cat here, unfortunately. The poor cat which Ellen was taking care of.